Dear students, welcome back to our practice session series. Today, I am going to start a question from our ACCA Study Hub, which is the official resource by ACCA. Guys, as I've already mentioned in the previous session also that SBL is somehow different from other professional papers, and for the purpose of SBL practice, you have to make sure that you are practicing as much as question as you can. And for this purpose, I'll guide you 7 to 8 questions according to the topic wise, and after that, we will be solving 2 to 3 questions just like the main examination from the past papers or ACCA practice platform. So make sure that you are in a position to link the question with whatever concepts I have taught you during the class sessions. Because in SBL, theory is not that much important. The most important factor is to link whatever you have learned in the theory, whatever you have learned in the concept with the case study. Because the 40% marks is almost related to the knowledge area. Apart from that, other knowledge, other marks are relating to whatever the way you are writing it down. So, always remember whenever you are attempting or reading a question, start with the case requirement first. So, in the given question, I will be starting with the case requirement first. In the ACCA Study Hub, you have the option to highlight, to remove the highlight, you have the option to write it down over here just like this. And you also have the option to calculate on the ACCA Study Hub itself. So, and that is going to give you benefit that you don't need to practice on a different platform or on a word. You have the question on the same platform and you can write it over here, and you can check your answer after submitting, and you can get the main answer just like here. Now I will be reading the task requirement first, and then after that, I will be reading the main case study. So, under this task requirement, they are asking us to prepare a briefing paper for the board, which, remember, if the question is asking you to prepare the briefing paper, in SBL, the most important factor is consideration of the professional marks, and every time you have to make sure that you are writing according to the professional marks. If the question is asking you about the analysis skills, you are writing answer considering the analysis skill. If the question is asking you about the professional skepticism, your answer should be in consideration of the professional skepticism. So it's not tough, but yes, definitely we have to consider the professional marks while attempting the question. Now let's read the requirement, and I'll guide you throughout the session. What does that particular professional marks mean? Now our requirement is to assess the attractiveness to Nesta of entering the discount fixed price retail market in U. I will be just speaking it as a U using the Porter five forces model. So generally nowadays they don't tell us to use the model directly. We have to use our own brain and apply the model. But you are lucky in the given case they have mentioned us the Porter five forces model. So before starting the question or before attempting the question, let me remind you, Porter five forces model is applicable in case of a microeconomic factors whenever we have to analyze the industry, and we have to think about the external factors which are microeconomic immediate environment. So what are the five factors of the Porter five forces model? Bargaining power of buyer, bargaining power of supplier, threats of new entrants, existing rivalry, and threats of substitutes. So considering these, we have to justify or we have to guide them whether the particular market or country, maybe they are talking about the country in this given case, is suitable for us or not. Now, the requirement B is discuss the potential use of scenarios by Nesta manager as part of their analysis of the company, possible entry into the discount fixed price retail market in country. So, normally, what I suggest to the students that after reading one requirement, then read the main case study, and then attempt it, and then next read the another case study. So this should be your approach. But yes, if you feel comfortable with whatever way you want to, you can follow your own approach. So make sure in the first requirement they are talking about the analysis skill. That means we have to justify and we have to consider both pros and cons of the particular scenario. Now let's start with the case study. Nesta. Nesta is a large chain of fixed price discount store based in the country of E. Its stores offer ambient goods that require no cold storage and can be kept at a room temperature, such as cleaning products, stationery, biscuits, plastic storage units, at a fixed price of $1. Everything in the store retail at this price. Fixed price discount chain focus on unbranded commodity goods which they buy from a number of small suppliers for which the dollar shops are the most significant customers. Profit margin of the product they sell are low and overheads are kept at to a minimum. The target price is fixed. The product tend to be functional, standardized, and undifferentiated. Now, Nexta has observed the long-term economic decline in the neighborhood country of E, where the prolonged economic recession has led to the growth of so-called dollar shops. Three significant dollar shop chains have developed: ID, DAID, dollar fills. Basically, there is a table which mentions us about the detail of these shops. The shop of these three chains are particularly found at the high street of the town and the city where there is a significant financial hardship. Many of these towns and cities have empty stores which are relatively cheap to rent. Furthermore, landlords who one require high rents and long lease are increasingly willing to rent these stores for a relatively short fixed term lease. The fixed dollar shop chain in E advertise extensively and continually stress their expansion plan. Few weeks go by without one of the chain announcing plan for a significant number of shops throughout the country. Nesta has recently recognized the growth of fixed price discount retailers in E and it's considered entering this market. Nesta has recently commissioned a brand awareness survey in E. The survey results show that Nesta was relatively well known to the respondent who work in the consumer good retail market. Most of these goods respondent correctly identified the company as a discount fixed price company with a significant presence in E. However, amongst general consumer, only 5% of the respondent had heard of Nesta. In contrast, three current fixed price dollar shop discounters in E were recognized by more than 90% of the respondents. Netsa itself has a revenue of 1,20,000 a million. It has cash reserve which could allow it to lease a significant number of shops in E and it's established a credible market presence. It has recognized the competencies in effective supplier selection and management supported by effective procurement system. Its logistics system and methods are core strength of the company. There are also many controversial supermarket chain operating in E. The largest of these has an annual revenue of 42,500 million. Supermarket in E tend to be increasingly favor out of town side, which allows stores to stock a wide range of quantity of products. Customer car parking is plentiful and is relatively easy for supplying vehicle to access such sites. As we are stocking non-ambient goods, most supermarket do also stock a wide range of ambient goods, often with competing brand on offer. However, price for such goods vary. No supermarket have yet adopted to discount fixed price sale approach. In general, large supermarket chain largely compete with each other and pay little attention to fixed price dollar shop discounters. Many supermarkets have internet-based home ordering system offering usually a fee of $10 delivering to a customer who are unable or unwilling to visit the supermarket. Now we have a table which tells us the revenue of three main discounted fixed price chain in country E. This is for 3 years, 2005, 2006, and 2007. And then again, we have the total figure along with the uh, names of the three chains of the current companies. So remember one thing, whenever we have the data of more than 1 year, so what we can do is we can check the growth or increase in percentage term for the comparison purpose. So this is the best way to compare the data within the years. Now, our requirement is to prepare a briefing paper for board which assess the attractiveness to Nesta of entering the discounted fixed price retail market in country E using the Porter Five Forces model. Basically, we are in a different country right now and we have the expertise in our country, but we are trying to enter into another market with whatever expertise we have, and they are talking about the details of the another country and whether it should be a wise decision to enter into that particular market considering the Porter's five forces model. So as I have mentioned you 5 points of Porter five forces model, you have to consider that whether it's possible or whether it's a wise decision to enter into the market considering the Porter's five forces model. So before start writing, make sure that you have highlighted the points which you think are important for the answer. This should be your main approach. After that, you have to just make little note somewhere. Maybe it could be on the rough paper or it could be on the scratch pad on the available screen, depending upon you are appearing remote based or a center based paper. So, because if you have written the facts nearby, then you can't forget what was the main case study. So, Porter Five Forces model, I guess you guys have written the points which you think are important or which you can apply in the scenario. Guys, make sure that uh, if you are writing, and I would recommend you guys to after reading the question, every question at least minimum 10 to 12 question, you should start writing by your own and then match with the standard answer. If your answer is around 60 to 70% of the standard answer, then there is no issue because the standard answer is lengthy considering because they have discussed various points. So don't get panic after just looking at the answer by ACCA team because it's a standard answer. So if you are around 60 to 70% of their level, then you can definitely crack the ACCA SBL examination. That's my opinion, and I'm damn sure that if you are consistent in writing the question, you can definitely clear your examination. So now let's discuss the points which I feel should be applicable over here, and then I'll show you few of the points, and then you guys can read it or write it by your own. So first is about the bargaining power of supplier. So basically, the bargaining power of Nesta in relation to supplier, according to me, is strong because there are various factors according to the given scenario. Because the switching cost is low, because we have very a lot of suppliers available, so we can easily find another alternative supplier, and that's why the switching cost is comparatively less. So, and the another factor which is they have specially mentioned that the switching cost, the products are functional, standardized, and undifferentiated. So, whenever the products are undifferentiated, then we are in a position that we can easily find the alternative supplier, and then if if we find a supplier A who is charging us more price for a particular item, then we will try to find out the solution or another suppliers who will be delivering us the same item at a lesser price or maybe equal price, but our satisfaction level should be more. So basically, if because we have to consider that our overheads are minimum, so that's why we will be finding the way to decrease our cost, and that's why the supplier, supplier cost is, switching cost is basically less, and bargaining power of supplier is less. Now, according to me, the next item is about the next is the in the list is the current competition. Current competition. So basically, currently there are three dominant competitors, and the name is mentioned over here: dollar fees, DIAG, it's as dollars. So basically, we have the revenue of these three current competitors, and they are the three fixed price discounting chains are competing on the profit margin, and their fixed cost is around particularly $1, and they are expanding a lot. So basically, the intensity is high, uh, and again we have the more expansion plan in the given scenario. And yes, if so, even existing competition is high, so maybe the new entrants, just like Nesta, will probably resist, because they knew that currently there are three dominant persons or competitors in the market who are already leading the market, and maybe the people could resist if uh, they have to switch, or they have to choose the new supplier or the new market entrants, just like Nesta. But again, we have the figures of revenue data, which give me idea that the market is currently growing. Like in 2015, it was 275, and then 300, and then 330. So you can directly use this figure, but my opinion would be, you can add on, or you can write it on a year growth basis, or you can take the total figure of a year on year growth basis. So next is about the threats of new entrants. So basically, if new entrants, so new entrants have less threats, because nowadays there is no extra barrier like rent, stock, staff. Because nowadays we have seen that the local landlords have switched to the short-term lease period, and that's why there is less barrier. And now the recession has led to the reduced shoe prints, and the shops are now more available. And yes, exit costs have been reduced. So basically, that's why the short-term rentals are available, because they are considering maybe the reduction should be giving the more flexibility to the existing and the new entrants. So basically, with that, we have seen that the new entrants rate is comparatively high, because there is flexibility to enter or to exit in the market. Now, next is about the threats of substitute. Basically, threats of substitute is just the whenever we have the alternate supplier, alternate source, but within the different industry, like tea or coffee are the alternative. If I want to have coffee, but I don't have coffee at my home, I would take tea as an alternative to feel fresh. So these are the different industry products, but they solve the purpose of each other. So this is all about the substitute products. So in the given case, we have seen that we have the supermarkets available. So basically, the substitute threat is here, but we have to consider, are our customer ready to switch to the another substitute product? And another consideration is the internet based market, because maybe the people are not ready to have the internet based market also. Also, along with that, there was information regarding the supermarkets have their annual revenue of 40 to 500 million, and they can increase this level also. So you can write a moderate level of answer, not in favor, not in against. That can be your approach with respect to the supermarket area. So basically, these are the 5 points of the um, Porter Five Forces model. And now, next, you have to consider that there is no right or wrong in a particular question. especially in case of SBL, the way you want to write down your analysis, you are open to do that. Just make sure that you have to link your question with the case study. I've just given you the glimpse. I would request you guys to write it in your own wording and then match it with the standard answer. So this was part A answer. Now let's discuss with the part B requirement. Discuss the potential use of the scenario by Nesta manager as a part of their analysis of the company possible entry into the discount fixed price retail market in country E. So basically, you have to discuss about the possibility of entry, and again, they are talking about the communication skills. So make sure that you have to address your concern very properly according to the communication skills. So basically, you can, it's not compulsory that you have to just write in favor or against. Uh, you can take whatever view you want to write it down. So basically, the first scenario is about the economic recession. We have seen that the economic recession is high, so that could be dependent upon the economic problems. Maybe people will run to shop. Maybe people will prefer these dollars business, or maybe they could prefer the supermarket, depending upon the economic scenario, and that is totally out of our control. Now, next is the scenario is not giving me the detailed information about the future. It's not giving me the assumption, but yes, you can write it down on the basis of the assumption if you want to. And the next is the basically the established company in the basic in the market. So that is very difficult to predict. We can give the neutral response over here also, because the current companies are relatively small if we discuss in the retail term. So they are small and they don't have experience, but Nesta is having the experience, although it is not having the experience in the same industry. So if Nesta enter into the market, maybe probably due to the experience in its own country, that can take the advantage over the other competitors. But again, maybe the customers are not happy to accept the new entrants just like Nesta in the market. So that is totally again unpredictable. Now, next is the channel change, which is very important because the customer are going to prefer shop against the internet. That is a very unpredictable question, and we can't judge about that. So basically, this is very important factor to be considered, and after that, we have to decide. After considering that factor, we have to decide. So next is the attitude of the established supermarket considering the discounted fixed price term, because currently they are not competing against the price discount factor scenario. They may continue to wish like they are currently working on. They can set up their own specialized branded outlet, and they can also acquire, or they can merge. Merge, and they can also use their economies of scales because they have enough level of funds available. So any scenario could be applicable in the given case. So you have to write down based upon your judgment. Again, I have just given you the brief idea, although you can suggest some methods to define the likelihood or impact, or you can write down about the unpredictability of the scenario, and you can wind up your answer considering that. So this was all about Nesta. This is the standard answer. Just let me show you. Right. So they are talking about the bargaining power of supplier. Again, they are talking just like us, that it appears to be strong, and the factors just like the switching cost and the product are standardized and undifferentiated, and the product purchased from supplier represent a significant fraction of the buying cost. So basically, they are also linking with other factors also. Purchasing companies are fewer than and larger potential suppliers. So that's why the switching cost is less and bargaining power of supplier is high. Then next is the competitive nature of the market. Then again, they are talking about the dominance market competitors, and they have used a little bit information about the figure also. So again, they have also taken the reference from the table which just like us, and then they have also shown the growth just as like I have mentioned you. So they have shown the growth from year 1 to 3. You can use the growth from year 1 to 2, 2 to 3 also. That's totally your call. So now next is about the threat of new entrant. So basically, a capital market requirement, again the same point just like us, and then we have the capital and we have the expertise, and the economic recession has led to the reduced shop rent and the greater shop availability. So I'm just highlighting the few important points which also I have already discussed with you. So there may be barrier to entry erected by the government to prevent. Okay, yes, this point I forget to discuss with you guys. So yes, you can also mention some other points which are not available in the case study and link it with the scenario, like if new entrant is just like in our country, if new foreign companies are trying to enter, maybe our government could predict and they could make certain restrictions so that our local sellers can benefit more as compared to the foreign company sellers. Again, threats of substitute, they have already mentioned about these large supermarket chains. But yes, they are resisting on the competing price, so they are differentiating through the product wide range of branded goods. But again, in our area, we are not concerned about the branded goods because we want the standardized cheap goods. So again, that's why supermarket doesn't have that level of power. So this was all about the Nesta part A. Now in part B, let me discuss again a few points from the scenario. So when a business is environment high uncertain, it may be impossible to develop a single view of how the environment influence might impact on the organizational strategy. So thus it might be useful for the manager to investigate the number of alternative future, these alternative future described in the scenarios. So again, they have also mentioned, and the best way is to give a diplomatic answer in the question just like this, because you don't have to write the correct answer which you and which could cause some damage to your marking. So you can just write it down in a more easy flexible way by giving the diplomatic this is also possible, another scenario is also possible. So again, they have mentioned about the economic recession and consumer shunting. Such shock scenario might consider economic situation remain the same, improving or getting or worse. So again, the situation could get better, that could get more worsen off. So again, they are talking about the merger and acquisition, just like we have mentioned, and basically they can compete or again significant players again with the customer shop internet flexible things. So most of the points which we have discussed are same as like them. Make sure if you have any other points in your mind, you can write it down. That's totally perfect. There is no right answer for SBL, so I request all of you to write the same question on ACCA Study Hub platform and then review it so that you can understand how much you can link with the question, and that will again improve your typing speed also. So this was all about the today's session, and in the next session again I will be coming and discussing few more questions. Thank you guys.